Margaret and I thought we would share. The bulk of them are available. They will be at the house afterwards, and we have talked about, and we'll talk more about, pulling them together and creating a book and preserving them as a family, a part of our family's history. And so I chose some I chose one selection from early on, just after he had he was completing boot camp and knew that he was going to be shipped overseas. And so he writes to his mother and tells her that he could go any day. He didn't know where he was going, but he would try and keep her advised so she wouldn't worry. And in this letter he writes, now get this. When you get my first letter from overseas, and it is headed, Dear Mom, we are in Australia. If it is headed, Hello Mom, we are in New Zealand. If it is headed, Mother, we are somewhere in China or India. And if I head the letter, Greetings, folks, we are in Europe. Now I hope that you have that straight. As soon as you read this, destroy it. And I mean right away. Figure out some way to keep the code in your head. Well, the one thing that we knew about Graham and Dad's relationship truly is that she never destroyed anything. And certainly she didn't destroy the code. So that was one little bit that I thought was interesting and reminiscent of the both of them. Later on, after he had shipped out and was overseas, we found a letter that starts, Dear Mom. Now, if you were paying attention, I'm not sure if the code applies, because he started all of his letters, Dear Mom. And he traveled around a lot. And he also always signed out with, be good, take care of yourself, and I'll be seeing you. We chose this section, and he was obviously already over in the part of the world that he was in at the time, and thinking about home. Throughout his letters, he talks about home, and it was always here. It was always Tassajara, the ranch, Danville. And so he's home now. In this letter, you can tell he's homesick. He says, let's see, I sure do hope you can find something to eat to send out this way. I wonder if a jar of mayonnaise would keep if you sent it out this way. I don't imagine it would, but I sure do crave a lettuce and tomato sandwich with lots of mayonnaise on it. I haven't received the watch. He goes on, and they sent things back and forth. But the other part of this letter, he talks about Mom. And he says, it sure was nice of Marge to get those flowers for you. She is the most thoughtful and unselfish girl I've ever known. I don't know what I would do without her. I have lost all track of time over here, and all those special days that come up go by, and I never know anything about them until somebody tells me. But as long as I have Marge to take care of these things for me, I really don't have much to worry about. I sure can pick them, can't I? I don't think I made a mistake, do you? She sure is tops for my money. And I'm just going to conclude then with one letter from later in his campaign, when he was waiting to come home. And he, again, we hear the voice of a very different man that had obviously been through some very tough times. But he talks again about home and Tassajara and the ranches. He describes them as being home sweet home to him, and that he can't wait to get home. Obviously there was a Mother's Day in there when he was writing this, and Graham spent it with the Lawrence family, which would have been Mom's. He writes, I'm so glad you had a nice time at the Lawrences for Mother's Day. My only wish is that I could have been there, too. Someday this is going to blow over, and then we will all be able to celebrate those special days together. That means so much to us when we are separated. Maybe it's for the best this way. It makes you appreciate life and its happiness more. Marge is certainly one in a million, and I'm certainly lucky to have her. I fully realize the fact and am a little proud of myself for making the decision when I did. And even though I was a trifle young. And with that, I'm going to stop. But there